Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on European Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it comes from a translation of a message that I received. Strange things indeed they do happen in this world. The translation reads like this. Hello, how are you? Can you please post my own story as hidden identity? My name is Mandla and I am living here in Bulawayo. I have since retired, but I used to be Umalaicha for a very long time. I made a living by transporting people from my country into South Africa, those that did not have proper papers. It was a very dangerous job, but I did it for the money. Because of the money that I was getting, I was able to send my kids to school, but now I am regretting. At that time, I did not think much about the risk because I used to tell myself that everywhere there is money, there is always a risk. I did not even think about the people that I was helping to cross the border. To me, those were not people, but they were goods that I was transporting. It was just a business, and I told myself that I was only trying to help myself, and I was also helping these people to find a better life. It was in the year 2009. It was in January. Something happened that has been haunting me ever since. So I was transporting a group of people across the Limpopo River. At that time, we had stopped for a brief period of time in Beitbridge. Some people were finding some food to eat whilst we were busy checking the car. So the car, it was going to be on the other side of the border. Then we were going to go through the bushes. During those days, there used to be those thugs, those that they used to call amagumaguma. The roads that we used to use, they were very dangerous. So as to avoid the authorities, you had to go through the route where there were wild animals and those murderers. And on that day, when I picked up this woman, she told me that she was on her way going to meet up with her husband, but unfortunately she did not have the right papers. So I told her that if she could give me a husband's phone number and if I was going to contact him and if we were going to agree on the terms and conditions, then I was going to allow her so that I can transport her as well, because she wanted to go to her husband who was in Johannesburg. So she then agreed. I spoke with the husband and we agreed on the price. We then started walking as the sun was setting. We walked, and by the time that we reached the Limpopo River, it was quite dark at that time, and then we started walking as we were crossing the river. Whilst we were crossing the river was quite high. It was as if they had opened the water because the river, it was swollen to the brim, but we were in a hurry, and I convinced myself that we could make it across, even though most of the people, they were really scared. And that woman, whom I will call Spongile, she was there. She was desperate to join her husband, who was already in South Africa. She kept on saying that she was going there to work because they were still a young couple, so they wanted to work together so that they can raise some money. But she was scared. The moment that we arrived at the river, I reassured her that everything was going to be fine, for I had done this countless time before and nothing had ever gone wrong. And this is how we used to cross the river. We would be holding hands whilst walking in a single file, but that day was different. The pressure of the water, it was just too much. As we were crossing the river, the current became too strong. The water was rising too quickly, and before I knew it, she then said, "Something has bitten me, something has bitten me," as if it was a crocodile. Sibongile then lost her footing and she was swept away, because when she said that something has bitten me, I really panicked. And since I was holding her hand and I tried to grab her to save her, but the river, the water was too powerful for me. She disappeared into the water and there was nothing that I could do. So I took the rest of the people onto the other side of the river. Then I said, what am I supposed to do? Should I return back? Then we took the torch that we had. Then we started looking for her in the river, but we could not see anything. The moment that we kept on trying, as we had switched on the torches, we then heard that there were cars that were patrolling on the South African side. And now I had a decision that I was supposed to make. It was either I could go to the police to tell them that I had this other woman whom I was transporting. This woman, she had been bitten by a crocodile and she had vanished, so that they can start to search for her. Or I had to save the other people that were waiting for me, those ones that I still needed to transport, those ones that had given me money, and some of them I was supposed to get the money after I would have gone with them to their different destinations. So I had to quickly make a decision. That was when I decided that it was far much better for me to lie. Those other people that were already on the South African side, when they asked about this woman, after I had gone to search for her, and then I had the soldiers as they were patrolling, I lied to them and I told them that she was too afraid to cross the river, because the rule is that when you are crossing the border, there is no such thing like there is no one who will be left behind. If you are weak, you are going to be left behind. I told them that it was too risky for us to wait for her to gather the courage to cross the Limpopo River. But in my heart, I knew that this was what had happened. As we started walking into the dense bushes, I heard her screaming. She was screaming in pain. She only screamed once, as if the crocodiles were busy chewing her up. But I was afraid. I feared for my own safety, for my livelihood. I thought about my wife, about my kids that were in university. I said I cannot get myself arrested, so I made that terrible decision. I finally reached South Africa. I lied to Sibongile's husband. I told him that she had been arrested by the authorities, and the authorities had taken her away when we were in Louis Trichardt. I thought that this was the best way to protect myself, to avoid any problems at all. I convinced myself that I had done myself a favor, because I said, you can just imagine going to the police and then the reports and everything, going back to the river, explaining what had happened. And that was a way of me trying to save myself so that I can keep on making money. Even though I told that lie so as to save myself, but the lie has been eating at me ever since that time when this woman disappeared, when I was busy transporting her. I know that she was never found. I know that she drowned in that crocodile-infested river, and I know that her husband might have spent years searching for her, holding on to the hope that maybe she was still alive somewhere. And I know that even right now, he does not know that this is what happened to his wife. Years went by and I tried to bury the guilt. It was in the year 2015. That was when things started to go wrong in my own life. As for my daughters, my eldest daughter, she was supposed to get married. She became so violent. She started complaining, saying that she was hearing voices of this other woman who was speaking with her in Shona, and she could not understand what the woman was saying. And immediately I knew that this was Sibongile, the ghost of Sibongile that was affecting my daughter. And at that time her husband brought her back to me because she was running mad. The doctors could not explain what was happening to my daughter, since there was no history of mental illness in our family, no reason for that kind of sudden madness. Deep down I knew the truth. It was my guilt, my lie, that was coming back to haunt me. The spirit of that woman was the one that was coming to haunt me. I had tried to protect myself, and now my children, they were the one that were paying the price. Instead of me confessing, this is what I did, Brother Nashi. I went and I visited this other traditional healer alone in secret. This traditional healer then gave me a stone, and I was told that this rock that had been given to me when I was transporting people again to South Africa, I was supposed to go through that same place where that woman had drowned. And after I had crossed, when I would be on the South African side, I was supposed to throw this rock into the Limpopo River. So this rock is the thing that is keeping a spirit from fighting against me. But now I have my other daughter who is also running mad, even though I am a retired man. And I was told that no matter what happens, I should never set foot again in that river, in Limpopo River. Otherwise, his spirit is going to come, a ghost will be coming to fight against me. As for now, his spirit cannot fight against me, but what it does is that it fights against my children. So I am scared that if I tell my kids that this is what happened, maybe they are going to fight against me, saying that I destroyed their lives. This is my own story, Brother Nashi. If only I knew where this woman came from. I have plenty of cattle. I could have gone to her relatives so that I can apologize for not alerting them when this woman was grabbed by that crocodile and drowned in that river. But you know, when you are transporting people, it's not like you have some conversations with those people. You do not care about them. All that you see is like they are a commodity that you'll be transporting from one country to another. So I do not even have any idea where she came from. And as for her husband, look, this thing, it happened a very long time ago. I don't even have his numbers anymore, because soon after that I changed my mobile phone and I lost the husband's number, and I don't even know where he also comes from. This is my own story. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our dear brother. That was the translation of that message that was sent to me. Strange things indeed they do happen in this world. Yo.